Good day. Here are the headlines from the Philippine News Agency. The number of Filipino families who have rated themselves as non-poor for the first quarter of 2024 have increased based on the latest social weather station survey. The SWS survey conducted from March 21 to 25 showed that 53.6% of respondents, or 14.9 million families of respondents, rated themselves as non-poor. 46% or 12.9 million families considered themselves poor. Among the non-poor families, the self-rated non-poor consists of 30% borderline and 23% not poor. This is compared to the December 2023 survey where borderline families were at 33%, while non-poor families were at 20%. The SWS said the nationwide self-rated poor figure slightly decreased in Mindanao and Metro Manila and increased in Visayas, where the score in Balanced Luzon remained steady. Meanwhile, 33% of families rated themselves as food poor, 36% rating themselves as food borderline, and 31% rating themselves as not food poor. This was a slight change from 32% for food poor families, 41% for food borderline, and 26% for not food poor. 9.3 million families called themselves food poor in March 2024. The government is considering legal action against creators and spreaders of deepfake videos, particularly those behind a recent video of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. The Presidential Communications Office made a statement amid reports of a video featuring an AI-generated voice of the President ordering the military to act against another nation. PCO Assistant Secretary Patricia Cale Martin said they have already reached out to the Department of Information and Communications Technology and the National Security Council, which are now investigating the issue. Martin said the DICT suspects a foreign entity is behind the deepfake videos. She said the video in question is already a cause for concern because it could potentially harm foreign relations and sow chaos. Meanwhile, big social media platforms like Google, TikTok, and Meta have expressed willingness to help the government fight deepfakes and other online threats. These platforms work alongside PCO in its media information literacy campaign. The PCO official urged the public to be responsible in sharing unverified news online. The number of fire incidents increased by about 36% in the first quarter of 2024, according to the Bureau of Fire Protection. The Bureau said 8,189 fire incidents were reported around the country from January 1 to April 25 this year. This is higher than the 6,020 cases reported in the same period last year. In an interview, BFP spokesperson Fire Senior Superintendent Annalie Carbajal Atienza said the most common cause of fires was overheated and overused electric fans. She also noted the lack of fire trucks and fire stations in about 120 municipalities, some of which are island areas. However, she said the BFP has ongoing collaborations for the construction of more fire stations. Meantime, the BFP reminds the public to check their electric fans regularly. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has named Undersecretary Hans Cacdac as Secretary of the Department of Migrant Workers. Cacdac's appointment was signed by Marcos on Thursday. Prior to his appointment, Cacdac served as officer in charge of the DMW after the passing of former Secretary Susan Ople in August last year. He also served as Executive Director 5 of the Overseas Workers Welfare Administration, Executive Director 5 of the Philippine Overseas Employment Administration, and Undersecretary of the Department of Labor and Employment. The Presidential Task Force on Media Security has commended the swift response of the police in helping a freelance photojournalist whose belongings were unlawfully taken by members of a private security agency in Silang, Cavite. According to PT Forms, the 23-year-old victim identified as Jose Monsieur Santos and a member of the Filipino Freelance Journalists Guild and correspondent of news outfit 1PH, sought assistance after his equipment was forcibly confiscated while covering a demolition operation despite identifying himself as a member of the press. Among those confiscated were Nikon D750 DSLR camera, 2 camera lenses, pressed chest vest, Kevlar helmet, and backpack containing his computer tablet, laptop, mess kit, and other personal items. PTFOM's Executive Director Undersecretary Paul Gutierrez sought assistance from the Calabarzon Police Regional Office and Cavite Police. Silang Police took the initiative of recovering the seized items in coordination with the Office of the Mayor. Santos thanked PTFOMs for its prompt action, but he refused to claim the items because these were incomplete. Criminal charges are now being prepared against Jarton Security Agency for theft. And that's the latest on the biggest stories of the PNA headlines. For more news updates, please visit our website pna.gov.ph or our Facebook and X account, Philippine News Agency. The PNA Headlines is also streamed via the Servicio Facebook page. You may also watch the PNA Headlines through the Philippine News Agency's YouTube account via the News and Information Bureau website nib.gov.ph under PNA News or on the Facebook page of the Presidential Communications Office or PCO. I am Willard Basalonia and this is the PNA Headlines, bringing stories that unite the nation.